You've been there, the one who gave too much, waited too long, held your breath for someone who never truly saw you. You weren't her first choice. You were the fallback, the safety net, the emotional band-aid she used to patch up her broken moments, and deep down you knew. You felt it every time she texted, only when it was convenient. Every time she poured her emotions out to you, like you were her therapist, not her partner. You hoped that if you just stayed kind, patient, available, she would eventually realize your worth. She didn't. She won't. Because she doesn't value what's handed to her on a silver platter. She values what she has to earn. The role of the placeholder is brutal. You're there, always, with your heart in your hands, hoping she'll finally stop overlooking you. You give her emotional support when she's upset, attention when she's bored, validation when she's insecure. But all of that giving only makes you more forgettable, because comfort without challenge becomes invisible. The more you try to prove yourself, the more she sees you as someone who has no choice but to be there. In that energy, it's not compelling. It's not magnetic. It's disposable. The harsh truth is, she doesn't fall for the guy who's always available. She falls for the man who's grounded, who's not afraid to walk away, who isn't desperate for her love because he already loves himself. The placeholder plays it safe, hoping safety will earn affection. But love real, obsessive, soul-consuming, love doesn't live in safety. It lives in emotional tension, in space, in uncertainty. If you want to stop being the one she leans on until something better comes along, you have to stop showing up like someone who's waiting to be chosen. You have to choose yourself first. Being the prize starts with shifting your energy. It's not about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about returning to who you were before you thought you had to perform for love. The placeholder constantly tries to prove himself, responding to texts within seconds, agreeing with everything she says, always being there no matter how little she gives back. He confuses consistency with value, thinking that his constant presence will make him irreplaceable. But in truth, it makes him predictable, and predictability kills desire. When she knows exactly how you'll respond, when she feels no challenge, no depth, no mystery, she tunes out. Not because she's ungrateful, but because your energy is too easy to overlook. The prize, on the other hand, is a man who knows his worth. He doesn't need to over-explain himself, doesn't need to overextend to win someone over. He stands in emotional clarity. He listens, yes, but he doesn't worship. He gives, but with discernment. He's supportive, but not a sponge for her emotional chaos. His presence feels different because it's rooted in self-respect, not self-sacrifice. That difference is everything. When you stop seeking approval and start radiating confidence, everything changes. She begins to lean in, not because you're playing hard to get, but because you've become hard to replace. You're not reactive. You're not desperate. You've created emotional contrast, the tension between availability and mystery, between care and control. That contrast is what pulls people in. It's what keeps them thinking about you when you're not around. The more you show up with strong boundaries and a quiet confidence, the more unforgettable you become. Because now, you're not there trying to earn her attention. You're offering your presence like it's a gift, one that not everyone gets to receive. That's what makes you the prize. The placeholder gives too much too soon. He offers his time, energy, and emotional labor without requiring anything in return. He overtexts, overexplains, overstays. He becomes the emotional crutch. The person she turns to when her world feels unstable, but never the one she chooses when her heart is open. And deep down, he knows it. He feels the imbalance, the exhaustion of constantly proving his worth to someone who barely has to try. But he stays, hoping that his loyalty will eventually win her over. What he doesn't realize is that love built on sacrifice, without reciprocity, is not love at all, it's self-abandonment. She knows. She knows he's too scared to walk away. That no matter how inconsistent she is, he'll still be there. She senses his fear of losing her, and whether she means to or not, she uses it. Not maliciously, but because people value what they have to earn, and he made himself too easy. By giving everything away, He made his presence feel like a guarantee, not a gift. And guarantees are rarely cherished. Becoming the prize requires you to unlearn this pattern. It demands that you reclaim your energy. You stop giving without receiving. You stop justifying someone else's indifference. You stop shrinking to fit their comfort zone. When you start setting boundaries and refusing to tolerate inconsistency, your energy shifts. You're no longer available for breadcrumbs. You no longer stay where you're tolerated instead of celebrated. And in doing that, you create a void. That void is where obsession begins, not through manipulation, but through absence. Your silence becomes powerful. Your standards become magnetic. People begin to wonder what happened, not because you made a scene, but because you simply removed yourself. And the absence of what they once took for granted begins to echo louder than any words could. Stepping into your power doesn't require loud declarations or dramatic exits. It begins in silence. In the subtle but steady refusal to keep betraying yourself for love, when you stop reacting to every message, when you stop chasing connection and start embodying self-worth, the shift becomes undeniable. You move differently. You no longer operate from fear of being alone, fear of not being chosen, fear of losing someone who never truly saw you. That fear kept you in emotional limbo, constantly trying to earn affection that should have been mutual. But the moment you realize that your peace matters more than their attention, everything begins to change. You start showing up in your own life. You stop waiting for someone to bring you happiness, and you begin building it yourself. You pour into your passions, your friendships, your purpose. Your energy becomes grounded, intentional, and self-sourced. And that kind of energy doesn't chase, it attracts. It's the man who once kept you dangling starts to feel your absence. Not just your physical absence, but your emotional detachment. You're no longer available to play the role of his backup plan. You've become unavailable to anything that doesn't feel like clarity, consistency, and mutual respect. And it's in this space that obsession is born, not because you're cold, but because you're clear. Clarity is rare. Most people are wrapped in confusion, inconsistency, and games. But you've become the calm in the chaos. You're not easily swayed, not easily impressed, not easily replaced. Your energy says, I choose me first. And in doing so, you invite only those who are willing to meet you at that level. You're not begging for attention anymore. You're commanding respect through presence, through boundaries, through the quiet but powerful message that if someone doesn't rise to meet you, you'll keep walking without looking back. The real transformation happens when you stop trying to be enough for someone who doesn't even know how to value depth. You stop chasing, not because you've given up on love, but because you've redefined what love should feel like. It's no longer about trying to win someone over. It's about choosing yourself so fiercely that the right people either rise to meet you or fall away. You stop performing. You stop bending. You stop shrinking your voice, your standards, your boundaries, just to be accepted by someone who was never capable of holding space for the real you. That's not strength. That's survival. And you're done surviving. Now you thrive. You move through the world like a woman who knows her value, isn't up for debate. You don't scream for attention. You don't need to. Your energy speaks before you do. It's in the way you say no without guilt, the way you walk away without explanation, the way your silence becomes a mirror to those who took your presence for granted. You're not here to teach someone how to treat you anymore. You simply remove yourself from anything that doesn't align with your worth. And the irony, that's when they notice. That's when they remember your light, not because you reminded them, but because they feel the void where your energy used to live. You see, obsession isn't born from effort. It's born from presence, from being so grounded in who you are that people either match your frequency or get left behind. You are no longer the woman who waits. You are the woman who decides. You don't just walk into a room, you shift it. And the man who's meant for you won't make you question yourself. He'll recognize the prize without needing to be convinced, because you'll no longer settle for anything less.